Congress just passed a law that puts a tracking chip inside America's most advanced AI chips. Here's the part that should actually worry you. It's called the Chip Security Act. Every advanced AI chip the U.S. exports has to report its location back to Washington. Lawmakers wanted more, a remote kill switch, the ability to shut a chip off from across the world. They wrote that idea into the bill, then explicitly banned themselves from building it. That's where we actually are, 8 years into the U.S.-China chip war, half measures, real casualties, and no agreement on who's winning. So we're doing something simple. We're checking the receipts. Did cutting China off from advanced chips actually work? First, what's actually at stake? Advanced chips don't just power your phone. They run the AI models. Both governments are racing to build the missile guidance systems, the satellites, the drones. Whoever controls the most advanced chip supply controls a real military and economic edge, not someday, right now. So in 2018, the US made a choice. Instead of just competing, it would try to physically cut China off from the chips it needed to catch up. That choice is what we're grading today. How we got here, fast. 2018, the US bans exports to ZTE. 2019, Huawei goes on the blacklist. 2020, the US orders TSMC to stop making Huawei's chips entirely. That single rule crippled Huawei's phone business overnight. 2022, $52.7 billion for US chip factories, paired with the toughest export controls in the industry's history. By 2023, even Nvidia's AI chips were restricted. That's the ladder we're standing on. The entire strategy rests on one bet: keep the US at least one generation of chip technology ahead of China, permanently. So, did it work? The case that it worked. Huawei's phone business really did collapse when TSMC stopped making its chips, and today, China's best foundry, SMIC, is stuck making 7nm chips at just 20 to 40% yield, meaning most of what they try to build doesn't even work. Compare that to Taiwan's foundries, which run far higher yields at even smaller, more advanced nodes. At the bleeding edge, the strategy is holding. China genuinely cannot build what Nvidia builds. That's a real win. The case that it backfired. Here's the problem. SMIC is still making 7nm chips, low yield, but real, working chips going into Huawei's own AI processors right now. China's National Chip Fund has reportedly put over 300 billion yuan into this fight across 3 separate rounds. Homegrown AI chip makers, Huawei's Ascend line, Cambricon, others, are gaining ground specifically because Nvidia's best chips are now off limits to them. Here's the irony nobody wanted. By cutting China off, the US didn't remove a competitor. It removed China's incentive to ever depend on American chips again. What this actually costs America. A 2025 industry study modeled the real cost. Just cutting US chip sales to China in half, not even a full break, costs American chip makers $41.8 billion a year, $7 to $8 billion in research funding, and roughly 50,000 jobs. Go all the way to a full split, and it's $77 billion in lost sales, $14 billion in research cuts, and over 80,000 jobs, plus 500,000 more down the supply chain. And America's own allies aren't fully on board. The Netherlands and Japan both have equipment makers that depend on Chinese customers. Korea and Taiwan's chip makers have billions already invested inside China. Everyone agrees on the goal. Nobody agrees on paying for it. China's weapon, currently sheathed. China controls the vast majority of the world's refined gallium and germanium, materials every chip maker needs. Beijing banned exports of them to the US back in 2024. Then, this year, as part of a trade truce, China suspended that ban until late November. The weapon is real. Right now, it's just sitting there, sheathed, not drawn. China's also opened an antitrust investigation into Nvidia inside its own market. Export controls aren't the only lever here. Regulation is a weapon, too. The actual verdict. Here's the take. The chip war succeeded at the one thing it measured. China still can't build what Nvidia builds. But it may have failed at the thing that actually mattered, because China was never going to stay a customer forever, and now it has every reason in the world to become a permanent, self-sufficient rival instead. The US bought a few years of lead time. It may have spent its best customer to do it. Where this actually goes next. Here's the one place this whole fight could stop being economic. Almost all of the world's most advanced chips are built on one island, Taiwan. Some analysts think China's real leverage isn't an invasion, because destroying Taiwan's chip factories would destroy the exact prize everyone's fighting over. It's just one read, but it's the scenario worth watching. So, is the chip war working? Depends what you were trying to win. If the goal was slowing China down, yes. If the goal was keeping China dependent forever, that ship has probably sailed. That's the actual scoreboard, not the spin from either side. Subscribe for the next one. Sources: company filings, ITIF, and public reporting. Links below.